Okay, our final lesson for the semester, we're going to talk about the importance of keeping up with current events. In today's digital age, it's easier than ever to stay up to date on what is going on in the world. And yet, many people fall victim to false or misleading information online, especially through social media. Knowing what is going on in politics or science or simply your local community is not only empowering, but it can lead to great success when it comes to interviewing for a job or advancing in the workplace. My hope is that through this final lesson, you'll learn to avoid fake news and use factual information to grow and give yourself more opportunities. The first thing we have to discuss is not accepting everything you see online as fact or truth. Now, smart as a class as you are, and I know that you guys do your research, think about the people you surround yourself with who don't do their research. Think about the people you talk to every single day that you know base their opinion on things because they saw an interesting or funny meme, or they read a brief headline, or they heard it from a friend. It can be pretty frustrating, and it can lead to a lot of false information getting spread around pretty quickly. Without the news, proper news, factual news, we would only be receiving information from activities happening within close quarters of us or associations with just a few friends. We would basically be limiting ourselves. It's important to realize what's going on in any part of the world because, believe it or not, things going on in other parts of the world affect us here in America, even right here in Philadelphia. Changes in educational policy, political wars, perhaps a change to a law that affects the economy, all impact the way that we live. These things, learning about them, cause you to have opinions, and opinions make you more interesting. News opens our eyes to the horrors of the world, but it also opens our eyes to all the great things going on in the world. Keeping up with current events not only makes us more informed, but it helps us to connect with people around us, especially when we are going on a job interview. Now, at some time in the next couple of years, if not already, you will go on your first job interview. And 70% of people who conduct interviews admit to hiring someone they connected with on a question outside of the job description. And that's important because what they're looking for is character. They want to know, is this someone that I can work with? A well informed person is someone you want to work with. A well informed person is intelligent. Interviewers often admit that they are looking for someone who is not just capable of doing the job, but someone who is intelligent, because that'll be a person who will become a valuable asset to their workforce. Keeping up with current events will not only make you more intelligent, it'll make you more relatable and likable. Okay, one thing that you need to learn how to do is discern between information that is relevant and information that is just interesting. Interesting information can be anything from who won the game last night to who got casted in the new Marvel movie. These topics are great for small talk, but will not help to improve your business or to make your boss want to promote you. When we limit ourselves to only getting info from sources such as BuzzFeed or a Snapchat story, we limit our potential. It would be like someone thinking that they know a little thing about Philadelphia because they saw a funny meme one time about us liking cheesesteaks. Well, anyone who lives here knows that there's so much more to Philadelphia than just liking cheesesteaks. We're more nuanced and more interesting than that. And if you want to catch the eye of your future teacher or employer, then you're going to have to know a little bit more about the topics that are trending. Employers want to hire someone who's interesting and intelligent. The more you know about what's going on in the world, the more likely you'll be able to engage in conversation with people on a variety of topics. Here's how to know if you're more up to date on current events. Do you know what the current trending topics in the world are right now? If you said Earth Day, then you would be correct. But if I were to look on social media, which I am right now, and I can see that the trending topics are Wednesday vibes, Madden 21, and French Montana, these aren't exactly topics that are going to help you advance in the workplace. They might help you to make more friends and they might be a fun topic to talk about, but they're not exactly improving your business or your chances of getting promoted. So, what we gather from that is you need to be able to discern between what are some of the just trending topics that are fun to talk about on platforms such as easy to read pieces like social media, or rather BuzzFeed or Snapchat or Instagram. And then what are the topics that actually matter and impact the world around you? Knowing the difference between the two will not only make you a more interesting person, but it'll help improve your chances of staying employed and getting promoted. There are a lot of great reasons to keep up with current events. First and foremost, it is very easy to keep up on what's going on in the world today. Even though we have to be cautious about who we follow on social media and what we're reading on social media, we know that if we follow trustworthy news sites and people who are a credible authority on an issue, that we have access to information about what's going on in our community, our country, or the world 24/7. It's also important to stay up to date on current events because it helps us to have a more cosmopolitan and multicultural approach to life. Here in Philadelphia, we're very fortunate to live and interact with people from a variety of backgrounds. But many parts of America are limited in exposure to people outside of their race or religion. Think about how much better off you are by interacting with people who think and live differently than you. Staying up on current events and reading about people who live in other parts of the country or the world helps us to feel connected, to better understand one another. It makes the world feel like a smaller place, and that's important. Exposure to current events can not only help you to be more sociable and relatable, but it can help you to understand people that you have never met, or it can help people that you've never met understand you better. Why is that important? Because it's important to make the world feel smaller so that we learn to see that we are actually have more in common than we do different. Keep in mind, humans are very tribal. We tend to stick to people and groups who look and act just like us. For example, we tend to only hang out with people in our neighborhood or from our church or from some other organization that we belong to. Rarely ever do we step outside of our comfort zone and hang out with people who are very different than us. But there would be a benefit to that. There would be a benefit to getting to know people because the more you know about people, the more doors you open, the more opportunities you create. This can help us feel secure and protected by hanging out with people that look like us or talk like us or just grew up with us, but it limits our knowledge of how others think about us. Reading the news can help you to travel the world and explore the country without even having to leave your living room. So, if you cannot get other people to understand you better, and if you have a hard time taking a step forward to understand people better, simply remind yourself how easy it is to open up your phone, Google a topic, or follow someone on Twitter. Understanding people who are different than you and learning about things that are going on in other parts of the world will not only help you to feel better about yourself because you are becoming more intelligent, but it will help you to be more relatable and to make it easier to interact with people who are different than you when you leave your comfort zone. Okay, so you decided to take that first step forward, leaving your comfort zone and learning more about the world around you. It's a great thing to do. But keep in mind that as you pursue information and you go down this path of knowledge, there is a good chance that you're going to be susceptible to fake information, or what we call today fake news. People, often organizations, have an agenda that they're trying to push. And they'll not only use fake news and fake websites to do it, but they will get inside the mindset of the average teenager. They'll know that we tend to not want to do a lot of research and that sometimes we simply look at a headline and we accept it as fact, or we see a clever meme and we think that is fact. So, in order for you to stay ahead of the people who are trying to dupe you, make sure that you are willing to take a moment to just Google search the author of the website or the organization that is putting the information out there, and that'll help you to sidestep any false claims or information where people or organizations cherry pick facts in order to push an agenda. You also, as I just stated before, you really want to check these sources. If it's a .com, you definitely want to check the source. If it's .edu, there's a good chance that it's safe, but still try to figure out if maybe the information on there is misleading. And then if it's .org, what you want to do if the information seems faulty or like it's information that you don't really trust, Google search the organization. There's a good chance you're going to find information on it right away, and that'll help you to not waste your time reading information that isn't going to help you. Also, see if anyone else is reporting on the story. If you are reading a story about something that seems very unbelievable and no other news source is picking up on this story, that's a good indicator that it's probably false or misleading. Examine the evidence. You may not want to do this, but it's important to do it. You have to look at some of the facts that they present in that article and Google search it, especially if it's for a research paper for your class or if it's research that's being asked from your employer. Look for fake images. A good way to determine that the site is fake is they will use images that are clearly superimposed on an image that is real. A great example of this would be a celebrity who really doesn't make sense being in a particular picture. Sometimes we'll see that these pictures are very pixelated, and we can tell that they just took this image from some other source and tried to superimpose it on one that seems more credible. And then last but not least, use your common sense. If something seems a little out of sorts or like it isn't real, there's probably a good chance that it's not. So take a few minutes to Google search and do a little bit of research, and you will help to avoid fake news. I hope that if you take anything away from this lesson, it's that social media can be great, but just be cautious about what sites you follow. You have to be willing to do a little research so you don't get taken advantage of online. Organizations with an agenda know that we often do not do research on our own. With that in mind, I hope that you will learn to dig deeper into information that is presented to you and step outside of your comfort zone by learning more about the world going on around you. Okay, let's put our knowledge to the test today. As you go through the next 3 slides, you'll find 3 separate news articles. One of those 3 is fake news. To be entered into a raffle for a special prize, tell me which article is fake and how you knew it was fake in the comments section of this YouTube page. Good luck, and I hope to hear from you